Are you ready to challenge yourself and think bigger? I'm your host, Marianne Marchesi, and together we'll hear the unfiltered, unscripted stories of those who've taken big risks and transformed their bold ideas into reality. Season 2 is brought to you by multi-award-winning law firm Legalite, where bold ideas thrive. Tara Jarrett has spent 3 decades building businesses, a fitness training organisation, co-owning one of Australia's earliest PT centres, running a wholesale homewares business, and opening gyms. Then, in the middle of COVID lockdowns from a small town in regional Victoria, Kyabram, she spotted a gap no one else was filling. Women who didn't feel like they belonged in a traditional gym. People who wanted to move on their own terms, not someone else's timetable. So she built At Pilates 24/7, the world's first dedicated 24-hour Reformer Pilates franchise. What started with 4 reformers and 90 members in a country town has now scaled to more than 50 studios across Australia and New Zealand, over 20,000 members, and a proprietary tech platform delivering 500 plus on-demand classes. Tara, welcome to Bold Ideas.
Thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
I'm so excited to chat to you. I would love to hear more about your career, which you have called the world's longest apprenticeship.
It is.
I speak to a lot of founders who say that they feel like their business was made for them. Does that resonate with you when you talk about it being, the world's longest apprenticeship, and in hindsight, was At Pilates, always meant to be?
It was definitely a pathway towards it because, as you said, I've recognised a gap in the market. There was definitely a demographic out there that were being completely ignored by the traditional fitness industry at that point. And I think with all the hats that I've worn over my professional career, I knew that I could create something to fix this and to build something that I knew would be the answer. So I had the network and the knowledge to do it. So not so much that it was leading towards it. It was just more that because of all the hats I'd had, because of all the contacts, the professions and the businesses I had the skills to do it and probably fast track it faster than a lot of other people. Would have, yeah.
And probably had the resilience to stick with it.
Yes.
Especially in the early stages when a business is it's a new type of business. It doesn't cleanly fit into the Pilates, pure Pilates category. No. So having that kind of experience to drive that resilience.
Exactly.
Yeah, I imagine that would have kind of kept you going. You had talked about the gap. You had women in your gym who didn't feel like they fit that typical Pilates princess, persona. And that frustration became the seed of At Pilates.
It did. I had this continuous feedback from women who, exercise wasn't new to them. They had been to the gym, they had tried PT, they had done Les Mills, F45, CrossFit. So it wasn't a matter of not being aware of exercise. They were just at a stage of their life where they wanted to do something that was, I guess, less high impact. That a lot of them were injured and they knew that they wanted to try Pilates. They either couldn't access it, couldn't afford it, or didn't understand it enough, but they also didn't want to be part of a traditional gym environment anymore, but also at the same time didn't feel like they wanted to be part of, excuse the expression, but the Pilates Princess environment where they really felt like, I don't belong there. I'm going to be judged. I don't have the right outfit. I don't have the right body type. I won't know what I'm doing. So they wanted to be a part of it, but they felt there was nothing there for them. So they really felt that they were in this pocket of there's nothing for me. And so I kept getting this information. At the time, my husband and I had a very large multidisciplinary fitness centre that had, everything from a high performance centre through to personal training, group exercise. We had a pool, we had a Pilates studio in there, plus a huge, traditional weights area. But my studio was inside the gym at that time. And even though they wanted to access Pilates, they still didn't want to have to be part of the gym. And that's where I've gone, I think there's a problem here. I think there's
Yeah.
something that we need to address here. And that's where it started.
I love that. And I can really relate to that. Like I've done Pilates on and off. I used to do CrossFit many, many years ago for quite some time. But then after I had kids, it was really difficult to find my thing again.
And time.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, and the time. Absolutely. And Pilates can be, especially a reformer, Pilates can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, when you've exercised your whole life and then your body's changed and you don't have time and, you know, maybe not feeling confident in your own skin, and then to walk into a studio that's often quite, you know, intense.
100%. And the most rewarding thing now is we've got women in their 40s and 50s coming to us now and going, I'm the strongest and most confident in a studio or this sort of setting, an exercise setting that I've ever been.
Wow.
And that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I want to kind of maybe take a step back, but not really. When you had this feedback, you had this, you know, idea, you noticed a gap. What did it take to build that traction and, you know, get people invested in this idea that was so unique? You obviously launched during COVID lockdown. So that was, you know, part of the story.
Yep.
But how did you manage that initial, I guess, leads and conversion?
Yep.
With something so new?
It was a new concept. And one of the things that we did, we were in country Victoria at the time. And so it's off the back of COVID as well. So we thought, well, let's test this idea out. And so I had the idea of I'm wanting to put content together. My son at the time was an amateur videographer.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to him, as all 16-year-old boys at the time want to do, I want you to record me taking some classes. I knew what I wanted to do, and basically the concept started on a tiny scale with the members that we had around us in our gym, and we had 4 reformers. We built a completely different studio to the original studio that I had. We created the concept of the screens. At that time, we used iPads on a little movable stands, and away we went. But what happened very quickly is we just found that the uptake and the popularity of it was extraordinary. We had 97 members with 15 classes before we'd even opened, and that was insane. And this is just at a time that everyone was in lockdown. And so off the back of that, we started 5 different studios. So we started in regional Victoria. We were living in, as you said, country Victoria. And so the first 5 studios we did were proof of concept.
Yeah, okay.
And they were for us to, work out our systems and our processes and build our content library and to really figure out what it is we're doing and the best way to service our members, the best way to ensure that our members wanted to stay and be a part of our community, which is so important. And what we found from there, which was incredibly, surprising, was just the speed of the uptake that members wanted to get involved. And that's when we thought, we've got something here.
There's something here.
Yeah, and that's when we really decided to, okay, let's build on this. Let's make a decision to take it to that next level. And other than the 5 studios that we initially opened, which we are now franchise studios, but we launched our first franchise completely independent of ourselves, franchise studio in 2023.
Okay, so about 2 years into the journey?
Yeah, about 2 years into the journey.
Okay.
It took us about that amount of time to know exactly, okay, well, this is
get it right.
To get it right. It was also an incredibly difficult time personally. We were in the fitness industry during a time when gyms were locked down.
You were the first to close.
Last to open. 286 days, not that we're counting. We were closed down over a 2-year period. And now that's devastating.
Yeah, that's devastating.
So we went, from a business that was thriving to a business we had to completely start again. But what it did do was it really expedited this idea, and we pivoted really quickly, and we recognized really soon into the whole COVID experience that the fitness industry was never going to be the same.
Yeah.
It was never going to go back. to what it was. And there was this real shift to wellness, and there was a real shift to the acceptance of technology.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That's where we've gone, we need to address and embrace this and move with it whilst we've got the time and I guess the energy to do it. So we use that lockdown time to grow something completely different and basically get ready, and it went from there.
Tell me about the mindset behind that, because it would have been very easy and no one would have blamed you and many other fitness owners for throwing in the towel during that time. Like what kept you going?
Curling up in a ball and rocking. There was a bit of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, it's really interesting because I also lost my dad during COVID.
Oh,
so it was horrific.
Gosh.
It was a horrific time. And I think, when I talk to my friends and my family, they all agree that this business actually saved me during that time. It gave me real focus and it gave me something to really concentrate on and to put my time and energy. And I was 100% all in. And I think that is something that, had you asked me to do it again, I think all the stars just aligned for this to work properly at the time. So it was
it does seem like it was actually meant for you, with everything you went through, that you stuck it out and your experience, as you said before. So and it's obviously turned into this.
It's an interesting time, and I look back at it and people say to me, you need to write everything down that happened, because there's so many things that led to where we are now. And sometimes I look back and go, wow, if that didn't happen, so
it's your origin story.
It was incredible. It was a really interesting time. Don't want to go through it again, but it was an incredible time.
No, but thankful for it. We can leave it in the past now. And most franchises, they go kind of straight to the capital cities. But you started, obviously, country Victoria, but you did start with the regional locations first before broaching, capital cities and then obviously international. Was there a reason or a strategy behind doing that? Was that quite a deliberate choice?
It was. Like, the first part was practical, like I said. This was off the back of COVID. So our first 5 studios, we did Kyabram, Shepparton, Wangaratta, Bendigo and Echuca.
Okay.
And they were all within an hour radius of where we lived. And that was purely because at the time, that's what we could manage. And so we had this little pocket of the Golden Valley that we were overtaking, basically.
Love it.
The other one was a little bit more strategic in that we knew this was different and it didn't exist. I kept trying to find it. I was researching and I'm looking. We are still to this day the only 24/7 Reformer Pilates franchise worldwide.
Wow.
And the reason for that is our proprietary platform. We own our content. I can talk to that a little bit later on, but by keeping it in regional, we could do it quietly. And so we knew it was going to attract attention and we knew it was also going to attract criticism. So we wanted to make sure that our systems, our processes, we got everything right before we were really under the spotlight of the major cities.
The major cities, yeah.
The other interesting thing we found was it worked so incredibly well in regional areas. So we've got, let me talk about Yeppoon actually. Our very first franchise site that we did was on the central coast of Queensland in a very small country town called Yeppoon. Now, this studio has been open now for nearly 3 years and they have over 500 direct debit and credit pack memberships.
Oh, wow.
We worked out as 5%, over 5% of the entire population is a member of this 100 square metre Pilates studio. Yeah, so incredibly successful studio.
Wow.
It works in regional locations because people are screaming for Pilates, but they don't have access to it. There aren't instructors available. So we come on board with this incredible platform that has over 60 instructors from all around the world that are specialists in their areas. You've got maternal health physios and osteos and strength and conditioning coaches and dancers and everyone from all sorts of backgrounds, and you've got access to those.
Wow.
So we've got studios in Roma, in Emerald, in Rockhampton, in Mackay, Bundaberg, places where normally people wouldn't have access to that level of Pilates instructor. And so we find our regional locations are incredibly successful.
I love that.
But we've also shown now that it works in the major cities. So we're in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, as well as regional New South Wales, regional Queensland, regional Victoria. So, yeah, we started in regional areas, continue in regional areas, but we've shown that it does work in all locations, including New Zealand and soon to be America.
Oh, amazing. That is so exciting. You said before that it might attract criticism as well. Did you get criticism?
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
Yes.
About what?
It's interesting. There is an element of the industry that doesn't like change.
Yes.
And one of the things that the industry needs to embrace is change, is technology, is advancement. I always use you don't want to become the blockbuster and, the BlackBerry of the Pilates industry. And that is what's happening. Reformer Pilates or Pilates in general has unprecedented growth at the moment. The growth in even the last 5 years that Pilates has been around is extraordinary. It's set to become a $1 billion industry in Australia alone in turnover within the next 2 years, which is huge. But what we're also finding is there's an enormous amount of traditional studios actually closing.
Yeah.
So the demand is incredibly high from the member front, but we're actually losing studios as well. And the reason being is there's not enough instructors to service the demand. But also too, members are getting more and more demanding in terms of what they want. And the industry is incredibly stubborn in trying to tell the member what they should be doing rather than listening to what they want. And what we did differently is we didn't listen to the industry, we listened to the member. And what the member was telling us is, I want more flexibility. I don't work 9 to 5. I can't do a 6 o'clock class on a Wednesday, and the one at 6 o'clock is for intermediate, and I'm a beginner and I don't want to go onto a wait list. I don't want to get locked out of my class if I'm 10 minutes late because I couldn't find a car park after dropping off my kids.
That's happened to me.
I don't want to do a full hour. I only want to do a half an hour. So we thought, well, we need to listen to that and we need to use things like technology and use AI to lean into what people actually want and to give people what they want, but to create an experience that's incredibly personalised. And that's what we're doing. It's very individualised, very personalised, and we're giving the power back to the member. So the member is in control now.
You've been so conscious about, building this business as a very customer responsive business. Like they are guiding you, which is what every business guru says to do, but people don't.
They don't do it. Your member is the beauty of franchising. We are only as successful as our studios, but each studio is only as successful as the member experience.
Yeah.
So if your members aren't having a great experience, they're not going to stay at the studio. If the studios aren't successful, there is no franchise business. So from a HQ level, our focus, every decision we make, everything around education, training, content, systems and procedures, events, community building are all about the member experience.
The end customer being the member.
Yeah. So we did cop resistance for that because people were so used to, Pilates is a face-to-face model. You can't possibly have a model where there's content being delivered we deliver our content via a movable screen.
Oh, yeah.
But we're staffed as well. So we have staff in our studios for 40 hours a week, but our staff are there for customer service. They are there for technique. They are there to assist and help our members who are, on the machines performing their chosen program that they've chosen.
That's clever.
But our instructor doesn't have to perform. They don't have to instruct. They just have to help. So we actually double down on the customer service side of it.
That's so great. It's so great from a safety perspective as well that, if I was going in to do it, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly.
And if you're in a face-to-face class, that's how I started.
Yeah.
Completely just being a face-to-face instructor. Your concern is, one, what exercise is coming up next? What's my actual class repertoire that I'm teaching, but I'm one on, there might be 20 people in front of me. The person that's going to get my attention is the one who needs me the most.
Yeah.
And so there's probably up to 18 people in that room that aren't really getting any attention, who need it. And it's impossible for an instructor to, one, do the activity themselves, plan their class, know their class, but also be able to give attention. So what we're saying is, let's leave the performing, let's leave the instruction to someone else.
Yeah.
So that our instructors are there to purely teach, correct, customer service, create an environment, just create that community and be there for the member.
Which is just so much more personal, to be in a class like that and getting that personal touch. Yeah.
So I guess the criticism we got was, it's not personal.
Yeah.
And so we're like, actually,
let's make it
it's more personal.
It's more personal.
Yes,
exactly.
we argue that it's actually twice as personal, because you've got two instructors, you've got one on a screen, but you've actually got someone there. And our studios are only ever maximum 6 to 10 reformers. So you'll only have 6 to 10 people in there at any one time. We don't
that's cool.
Yeah, we don't need 20 reformers, because our members come all day.
All day.
So
yeah.
if you don't get a spot at 6, you'll come at 7, or you'll come at 5, or you'll come at 4. So that's the beauty.
Yeah, that's amazing. It leads me to my next question, which is, you've described the business previously as a tech company in activewear.
Yes.
It's like that beautiful blend of technology and a real person in activewear. You've obviously built this proprietary platform with 500 plus classes without a tech background at all. How did you approach that? Like, you're a Pilates and fitness person by background. How did you approach building out tech, especially now with AI and everything?
I'm smiling because I'm very aware of my strengths, and tech is not one of them.
Really?
And my children actually think it's hilarious that I basically run fundamentally a tech company.
Yeah.
But what I am very good at is surrounding myself with people who are experts at doing that. So because of my background, I know I have a deep background in exercise science and programming. So I knew the product. I know what I wanted to build. I just don't build it. I surround myself with people that can build, evolve, as I said, lean in on AI and all of the advances that are out there to build our tech stack, which is quite amazing and comprehensive and changing and growing all the time. But I am very fortunate that I've surrounded myself with an incredible team that are way smarter than I am, and they continuously come up with incredible ideas. But that is the area of our business that is just growing and changing every day, and you've got to have an amazing group of people that understand that world.
I get it.
Because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you can't ignore it and pretend AI doesn't exist. What you've got to try and do is use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
So we use it to help us create a more personal experience for the user. So our platform is collecting data continuously. It's learning about you continuously. So the more you participate, the more we know what you like, what classes you prefer, what instructors you prefer. We know the length of class that you like to do. So we suggest and we create pathways for you based on that. The more you use it, the more personalised it becomes.
Oh, wow.
So it does far more than a person can do.
Yeah.
We still have that human element because people need people.
Yeah.
And having a studio or an offering that doesn't have any staff or any community in there does not work.
No.
Will not work.
You need the community, absolutely.
100%. And that's where our staff and our focus at HQ is. It's continuously about what can we provide these members so that they love being in this environment. They want to be part of it. They're excited to turn up, and we do. And not only do they love the programming, the studios, they look beautiful, they smell beautiful, they love just being in the space. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. In addition to being your host, I'm also the founder of Legalite. If you're looking for a law firm that can work with your bold ideas, not against them, You can join the movement for better legals at www.legalite.com.au or follow us on Instagram at legalite_au. Are the people helping you with your tech, do they work for HQ or do you usually tap into contractors or?
Both.
Both,
Yeah.
okay.
Both. We have basically our head of tech and IT who's developing all of our website and assisting us with all of the uploading of content onto our platform. But then we also have a whole team that are building our app.
Oh,
And
wow.
we are about to launch a home app. We also then have another team that builds out what we call our LMS, our management system for our learning tech, for what we call our Pilates Academy. So we've got these different arms that look after different areas, and they each have their own team under them. So
that works really well,
I
I think, to have that kind of on tap almost support when you need it, but you've got the home base as, this is our strategy, this is what we're doing with technology. It's really exciting. It's so cool.
It is, and it's growing and changing all the time.
Yeah.
You think, oh, we've got it nailed. We've done, and then all of a sudden something else will evolve and happen, and we're like, here we go again.
Especially with AI, it's changing every single day, and you think I've never thought I've got it figured out, but some people think they've got it figured out and then it changes the next day.
And people are resistant. It's amazing how many people are no, I'm not doing anything.
People.
But there's so many advantages to getting it right. And it can make your world so much easier. And as I said, it doesn't have to make things less. It's not a choice of tech or personal. It's how do you use tech to become more personal?
Totally.
And that's our superpower. So that's what we're doing really, really well. Our members love it. Some in the industry are finding it hard to accept. And as I said, I think everyone in this industry needs to embrace some element of tech to stay relevant going forward, or they will be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, it was COVID 5 years ago. It could be something else.
Wash your mouth out.
I know.
Too soon.
Well, there's a lot going on in the world right now, so who knows? So you just have to, try to stay with it or ahead of it as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think having a product that is so flexible, which is what we're trying
that flexibility
to do, to work around people's lifestyles and their worlds, because we don't live like we used to, even 3 years ago. Yeah. It's incredible. We've got our HQ is in South Melbourne. We also have a working studio there as well. But that studio is truly 24/7. At 2:00 in the morning, someone will be doing Pilates. Yeah,
wow.
There's always someone in there.
Wow.
And that no one would have even considered that.
No, not at all. Wow, that is really incredible.
People coming off security, restaurants,
shift work, nurses,
wind down before they go home.
That makes so much sense, of course. That makes so much sense. I want to chat about the decision to franchise.
Yes.
Because it's very, very highly regulated in Australia,
incredibly,
as you are aware. What made you choose to go down the franchising path rather than scale kind of through a corporate model?
Yeah. So I vividly remember someone said to me, do you remember when you made the decision that, this was the road you're going to go down? And we got to a certain size, that 5 studios.
Yeah.
And I had to make the decision, look, are we happy with that to just, keep rolling them out, own the studios, or do we want to develop a franchise system that other people can then incorporate? And because, the cost is significantly different to invest in a franchise model. It was basically 12 months of legals and systems and getting that right, plus the expense of it. And so that decision was huge, but there was never a point I didn't think this was not going to work. I knew it was going to work. The members were just so involved immediately that I knew there was something that this could, that we could offer to so many different people. And the only way to do it really on scale was to franchise. The only way to, I guess, bring it to other countries was a franchise without having to bring on some, pretty serious investors at that time. And, this is a new concept.
Yeah.
Trying to explain it to people, especially back 5 years ago, they're like, wait, what? 24/7 Reformer Pilates.
Yeah.
Whereas now, there's boutique studios out there doing it, but no one's doing it at a franchise level.
At scale.
Yeah.
At scale, yeah.
And that's because of the platform. There's generic platforms out there that other boutique studios can have access to where they're all using the same content. But our content is for our member and developed for our member based off, as you said, we've got 20,000 users and we've got data coming back continuously. We know exactly the type of classes they want, as I was saying, the length, the exact equipment, format. So our platform becomes more and more specific. We don't tell our members what they want to do, or we don't tell them what they should be doing. They're designing basically the platform through their usage, that's really cool for them as well, that they feel like they're going on a journey and it's being adjusted for them and adapted for them, and they can see their progress. And it's been, I knew what I wanted it to be, but to get it there has been an incredible process, having an idea and actually then going, how do we make this happen? But we launched our latest iteration of our platform a month ago, and it's been really exciting, and this is game changing. And we're also now releasing a home app version, but it also means that our members can access the platform at home as well. So there's some really
So they
cool
do
crossover.
Reformer in the studio, and then they can also do at-home Pilates.
They can do at home. They can also plan their workouts. So they can look through the content, go, what am I going to do in studio tomorrow? We also have the ability on there where, think Spotify for Reformer Pilates, where we have a playlist on there and you can actually select your favorite exercises and design your own class. And you can call it, whatever you want to call it. And then you can go into a studio tomorrow and actually do the class that you designed the night before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And, for those that we work a lot with allied health, so physiotherapists, my therapists that might have a patient and they can put a program together, and it might be a back rehab program, then they can go in and do it in studio. So there's so much scope for this new platform, and that's something that we're really – so it was 12 months in the making. We've only just launched it. So it's continuously evolving all the time.
How do you hone in on what you are going to evolve, or which ideas you are going to execute on? Because I imagine there's so much opportunity with a business like this, and you must get, lots of ideas being so deep in it. Do you have like a threshold for where you're like, no, I'm not going to pursue this idea?
I'm smiling because I actually said to my husband the other day, if I come up with one more idea, slap me. Stop me. For us, we've really created almost our own Pilates ecosystem now. So we've got everything from, our franchise studio systems and operations, and our content platform, our app Pilates Academy, where we actually train instructors. We do all of our, we've got our in-house marketing, everything from, sales and merchandise and workshops. So what we find is people don't really need to go outside of our network anymore. We've tried to make it so that we've got something for every potential user of our product, whether they want to use it at home, whether they want to use it in studio, whether they want to, become an instructor themselves. We've got all of that covered. In terms of the next stage, we're talking, we're developing our own CRM. We're expanding, as I said, into other countries. There's just, it's continuous. And I think the ideas don't stop, but you've got to, as you scale, you've got to be ahead of it.
Yeah.
And you've got to have the staff, you've got to have the infrastructure, you've got to have the capacity to service what you start, or otherwise it will fall apart.
Yeah. And that vision, I think, to have always in mind, like, what your vision is, and if it's not serving that greater vision, you can very easily fall into that shiny object syndrome, where everything seems amazing and like a good idea at the time, but might not actually be relevant to your vision.
Exactly.
To the
Forecast,
grand plan.
Think of every scenario you possibly can. Ask questions, talk to mentors, all of those things.
Yeah. And you mentioned you work with your husband who's also in the business.
Yep.
I know the dynamics of that. I also work with my husband. What's that dynamic like for you, and how do you challenge each other? How do you work to both of your strengths? Tell me a bit about that.
It's an interesting one. For us, it's very normal. We've worked together on and off, more on than off, for the last 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredible how many people are really interested in that and find it unusual. And for us, we've always found it normal, but we're starting to realize how unusual it actually is.
Yeah.
We have completely different strengths. I'm more the ideas and brand development and projects and I guess the direction that something is going to take. I'm also probably better at people politics, but Russ is absolutely fantastic at implementing strategy. He, can implement procedures and he leads our sales team incredibly well. But what we do blur. We will cross lines and we will definitely challenge each other. We're also each other's, biggest supporter and sounding board. So we're the first ones to go to each other and say, what do you think of this? Or if we think, that we need to be pushed or pulled in a direction, we'll do that to each other. The other thing we find is, especially through something like COVID, we actually found that it was rare that we were both down. When one's up, one's down. So we actually found that actually supported each other. Occasionally we were both up, but we were never both down.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly important to have that support network.
Yeah.
So we found for us it works.
Yeah. And I think it's so great that you're different from each other, because
very different.
If you were the same, it probably
he grounds me up.
Work.
I can tend to, I have 40,000, ideas a day that's, but he'll often, go, okay, let's rein it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's stay on.
Well, I saw a little snippet of a video on your website where when you first went to him with the idea, he was kind of challenging you on, but what about this? But what about this? And he said you had an answer for everything. That really stood out to me, because I'm like, oh, that's so fantastic that A, he challenged you, but B, that you believed so much in this idea that you had an answer for everything.
He didn't want to love it. He really didn't want to. He's like, surely, this can't work. And I kept coming back with, because I had, thought deeply about it.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that he goes, I think I actually want to be involved in this too.
I love it.
Away we went.
Well, it's a good test, because probably the market is also going to challenge you
absolutely
and ask you these questions. And if Russ can get on board, then obviously the market has and can.
And I think that was part of it, because I think he knew I was about to disrupt the industry. I was about to throw something out there that hadn't been done. I knew it was going to upset some traditionalists, and I think he just wanted to make sure, are you sure?
Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And, hence what I was saying before, we started regionally, we grew. I think we were at, maybe even 20, 25 studios before we even hit a major city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden we popped up and people were, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
And, they look back and, oh my God, they've got 20, 30, 40, 50 studios. Overnight. It's like, it didn't happen overnight. We just did it quietly, leading up.
5 years to an overnight success.
Yeah. 30 years to an overnight success.
Yeah, it's true, when you take into account your whole background and all the learnings. And now you are already in New Zealand.
Yep.
As you said before, you're kind of expanding that international presence. What's your vision for App Pilates for the next 5 years?
We've got a really strategic growth plan, which we're well into. We will have, by the end of 2026, so by December 26, we'll probably have, about 80 franchise sites in Australia and New Zealand. So New Zealand will be close to, I think we'll have 8 by that time. We'll also have launched in Miami, Florida with our first American franchisee in Q3, which is exciting.
Yeah.
The amount of interest out of the States is ridiculous. There's nothing like this there. Australia and New Zealand are very forward when it comes to the health and fitness industry. We always have been.
Wow.
And we always think that America are the leaders in everything. When it comes to health and wellness, I would have to say Australia and New Zealand we hold our own, and I would have to say lead
so
the space.
To hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're incredibly forward thinking. But the thing we had to do before we went into America is get our due diligence right. They're highly litigious. We've got to make sure that we have all of our franchise agreements, all of our, codes of conduct. We have our US attorneys in place. We have our IP protection, our trademarks.
Yeah.
So all of that has been done. So that has been 12 months in the process. What we've done, which is unheard of, is everyone else that launches, especially a franchise model that launches internationally into an area such as America, is they usually go in with a corporate-owned studio to prove the concept. Then once that corporate-owned studio has proven itself and people can see it, touch it, feel it, and actually get some confidence in it, then some franchisees will evolve naturally or organically from there. What's happened with us is people from overseas have found us through social media, through word of mouth, just through our own organic growth.
Wow.
And we're opening a franchise site with a franchisee without a corporate studio there, based on the success of the model in Australia and New Zealand.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah, that is, again, that's a really cool, achievement, and we're really proud of that. We know that this model will be embraced in America. They're crying out for it, but you take our growth that we have here, and then you just, the times it by 100 when you get to the States in terms of just the amount of opportunity, the amount of people. So our growth phase will be into the southern states of the US, and then looking at, again, large regional, predominantly college towns.
That's a good idea.
Is a really great way to do it. So that's our growth pattern. We've got interest already everywhere.
Wow.
We're just basically, getting all of our systems and processes, our HQ team, our localized HQ team, our support structures in place, because we're a 24-hour model, but we are, on a 16-hour different time zone. We've got to make sure that we're able to support the same way with an international studio as we do with an Australian or New Zealand studio.
Yeah, that time zone difference is really tricky.
It is.
Yeah, unless, some, as you were saying before, when businesses start with the corporate model, they're often one or the founders will move there. Yeah, to be there like on the ground.
Yep.
But I think it makes a lot of sense to it's so unique, but to franchise first, I think is.
Well, we actually pushed back. We were pushing people away. We're like, we're coming. And we wanted to keep building Australia and New Zealand. But it's got to the point where people are like, we're here, we're ready. So we just kept doing our due diligence, making sure that we had everything ready to go. And now we're like, okay, let's just pull the trigger and away we go.
That's incredible. It's so incredible to hear about this, like the scale and the speed at which you've grown. So absolute hats off to you. It's quite amazing.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It has. It started with two of us, and now, our HQ has grown and almost grows weekly at the moment in terms of who we actually need to put in the seats.
That's a lot to manage as well. Just the hiring, recruitment, training, onboarding. That is a lot. People
and letting the right people in. We get approached by investors now, and it's a matter of not just saying yes to everything, because we've got to make sure it's right for us and it's right for our current franchisees who believed in us, from the very start, and to make sure that our growth is controlled and that whether or not we have, 20 sites or 200 sites, that the quality is there, the systems are there, the member experience is there, and the support is still there for everyone. Our studios open very successfully. They open with between on average 150 to 200 members before they've even opened their doors. But what we want to make sure that is they're as successful as studios like Yeppoon that have, got up to 500, members and pack holders who are still using that site 3 years later. We don't want to just open and set and forget. We've got to be able to service and grow that community and keep those studios successful, or we don't have a business.
Yeah, yeah. I really love that you've said that, because if you compare it to, it's not comparable, I know, but if you compare it to 24/7 gyms,
yes,
where it's just about getting members and probably, if they're being honest, in some cases relying on people not using the gym.
If they all turned up at the one time, they'd be in big trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas you're like, no, if you're paying for it, we want you to use it. We want the feedback. We want you to go through this journey. So it's very different to your typical 24/7 models.
And members are far more savvy now.
Yeah.
They understand
it
so much more. Their expectation is so much greater, especially now in the Pilates world. Pilates used to be quite exclusive and expensive, and it was only for certain, privileged few. And what we're saying is, no, it's an amazing type of exercise. We don't want it just be for people who could afford it. We want it to be for people that need it.
Yeah.
So we want to, open it up to more people. And so people are becoming more and more aware of what they can get and what they, what they should be getting for what they're paying. And so for us, it's incredibly important that we, look at things like member churn and member experience and member satisfaction, all of those things, rather than just relying on the new member all the time. And we're constantly saying to our studio owners, yes, you need new members. Of course you do. But stop worrying so much about finding the new member. Try and keep the current member as happy as you possibly can.
Totally agree with that. We're the same as a law firm. We do get new clients all the time, but for us it's also about, the clients that we work with often have worked with us for 6 or 7 years.
Exactly.
So it's like, we're not forgetting about them. How can we actually enhance the client experience and be with us for the long term and actually grow together?
Costs far less to keep a member than it does to find a new one.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Well, I would love to hear your advice for the listener on if someone has a bold idea. What's one piece of advice you've got for them?
The first thing I would actually say is, and I did have a think about this one, I thought, and I do say this to people that come to me I do have people that come to me, I've got this idea, and I say, so what makes your bold idea different to any other idea that's existing out there at the moment? How are you solving a problem for someone else in a different way than anyone else is doing? How are you affecting people's worlds? Why do people want to buy into this? How do you make people feel if they're involved in this? And if you've got those questions covered, you're halfway there. Most people will say to me, I've got this great idea, but it's actually on a surface level not very different to something that exists. It might be, better branding or better equipment or, on-trend fit outs, but ours looks different and we've got new equipment and our name's really cool, but it's fundamentally it's the same thing, just with a different lipstick.
Yeah.
So what's different? And that's what you have to find is your point of difference, because without a point of difference, you're just going to become part of the white noise.
Same. Yeah, you'll blend in.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy for anyone to start a business now. So easy. Yep. So you can add to the noise very easily.
And most people out there who want their own business are terrified to actually step out of the comfort zone of the white noise, because they want to stick to what's safe. This is the way that we do a Pilates studio because that's the way everyone's done it, and I don't want to be brave because what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if my bold idea isn't such a good idea? And that's the difference between buying yourself a job and buying yourself a business, and also the difference between, I guess, someone who's, again, just operating a business that already exists and someone who's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur is someone who's willing to back themselves and to take some risks and to go, you know what, I really am going to do everything I can to make this idea work, and don't go into it thinking that I'm going to work 9 to 5 and, work my 39 hours a week and not take phone calls after 5 o'clock and don't work on Sundays and have work-life balance. There's no such thing.
No, in which case go get a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, don't become an entrepreneur
do not do that.
Try and develop your bold idea. But, it is so rewarding if you get it right. And you're never going to – I was having this conversation with my son. He actually works in our business as well. He's a lawyer, and he actually does our all of that compliance and our business growth and international business growth.
Oh, cool.
So he's heavily involved. And, I was talking about there's no such thing as a mistake. There are expensive learnings, but there's no such thing as a mistake. And we're always going to learn something, and just some of the decisions that we make, we've gone, wouldn't do that again, but I'm glad I actually went through it because now I know not to do that again. So you've got to be willing to fail. And you've got to be willing to lose money, and you've got to be willing to do things that you thought were going to be amazing, but then they haven't been, but you'll find other things that you didn't think will work and go, wow, that's been incredibly successful. So you just have to be brave.
I think that's really great advice, because you can have an idea, but an idea doesn't pay the bills. But if you're executing on the idea and you're learning and you're brave enough to actually say, this didn't work, and then iterate. Iterate, just like keep moving.
The amount of people that will give up. Oh, no, that's too hard. It's like, oh, that hurt. I don't want to do that again. It's like, get up. Keep going. The amount of people that will say to me, oh, yeah, I had that idea. I was going to do that. And it's like, oh, good luck.
No, but did you? But did you though?
Did you? Did you though?
Oh, I love that.
Because it's, as you said, there's so many amazing ideas out there that people have had, but it's the ability to take that step. That's what makes someone special in, I guess, that entrepreneur space.
That's great advice. And you are absolute living proof of that.
There's a fine line between bravery and insanity, I think, when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
I think you need to have that blend to be an entrepreneur, to be honest. So it's a good couple of traits to have. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I've just loved hearing about your growth journey, and it's so, so impressive. So
thank you so much. It was really lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. If you loved what you heard, make sure you follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. Or even better, leave us a review. And if you have a bold idea of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes to get in touch.